Picture this. You are the top designer at a hot new AI startup, and you're about to launch this product live. The CEO is watching, all of the engineers, all of the teammates are watching. A user picks up the app, they launch it, they see a blank box, and then they close the app. What? Like, what's happening? The initial response is there is a bad call to action. They don't know what to do. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to build a front door into your AI product that will welcome folks in. Now, whether you're fresh out of design school or you're a seasoned pro that just has to comment about everything design, there will be something in here that helps you drive your product forward. If that's your jam like it is mine, then join the fun. Let's go. You can actually help me out if you just subscribe. You may be wondering, what is a CTA? A CTA is a call to action. It is the first thing that a user would actually do, experience, or interact with when coming to your website or product. If you think of it like this, you go to a restaurant and you ask, what would you like to order? And in this case, there's an invisible menu. The waiter just happens to be a robot. In these instances, you don't have an idea of what to do. And you'd like to understand how to approach this in that way. Most AI SaaS products, that actually software as a service, SaaS products took this to the next level. It became something that we have as a design paradigm now. To help you out in this instance, I'd like to shape it in this way. You want the right users to come to your product for the right reasons. I've done another video on the psychology of design elements and technology. You can check that out. I'll link it somewhere around here. You can actually go through and understand some of the psychology that goes into building these particular tools, elements, and the mental models that are available to help you do that. Your first impression is everything. It's actually like meeting people. If you meet someone who's aggressive, loud, and gregarious, then you're less likely to imagine them being warm and comforting and nurturing. And if it is, then you have a disjointed experience into what you believe it is, as opposed to what's actually true. And that's kind of how the frustration with design and design elements has when your user experience or the call to action in it is bad. Just know that a confusing CTA, it usually allows users to bounce. I mean, they get up out of there. And a great UX allows users to feel like it's simple. It's very easy to use. One common mistake you want to understand is just slapping a blank box and hoping that users figure it out. This is problematic because we are no longer in the days of Google. For those of you who remember Google, it started as just a box, a search box that a lot of people didn't really understand what it was.
When we were trying to name Google, we actually went through thousands of names.
The name of the company has now become its own verb in the dictionary.
Let's Google it.
You can Google it.
I Google practically everything.
6 simple letters on a plain white page.
Being able to do searches in any language about any country.
As you're typing, Google finishes your questions for you.
At Google, we have been working on organizing the world's information.
Once you got familiar with interacting with it, inputting things, typing things into this box, and it yielded results, that was kind of your foray into what we are now using as prompt CTAs, prompt call to actions, and areas that give us space to complete a task. The problem with that now is people think that it's okay to just slap a text box there and say, hey, figure it out, user. That's like me and you going to a house. We stumble upon an empty room and I go, yeah, go do what you want. You'd be like, go ahead and do what exactly? That's precisely the point. You don't want to let users think or force them to think. So therefore you guide them in other ways. That's really good UX. In the era of AI, even smart ones, even smart users, more advanced users, many of them don't know how to write a good prompt or know how to interact with such thing so that it can give them the best results. This is expensive because no one really talks about when you actually use techniques and CTAs in this prompt, whether they're good or bad. Bad prompts are wasted compute time, which means that's real money lost. Vague prompts forces AI to sort of guess. And for AI to guess what you need or what those results are, that's expensive. Let's talk about the different flavors of call to actions to get the user on board to kind of lean into your product. The first one is the AI first approach. And this is relatively simple. Big input box, lots of text, lots of scaffolding, and it just lets users explore. If you think ChatGPT, it does just that. Big input text allows you to go wild and crazy with your ideas. This is an AI first call to action approach. Now, this next approach is action first CTA. Think of this as like a companion. It is a feature that kind of plays nice alongside your regular tools. It's something that isn't front and center. It's something that's like Batman and Robin. It's Robin and just rides along with you and shows up when you really need it the most. It's not bold, but it shows up at the right time of you taking action on something. It's a companion that is action-oriented first, as opposed to AI first. The third approach is the contextual CTA. Think of this as something that shows up in the right moment. So it's more so waiting until you do the right thing in the right moment. You upload a document or you screenshot something or you've finished a meeting, and then it surfaces at that time. More contextual. Otter does this really well. Transcripts, different meeting notes. Zoom is doing it, Calendly. There's a lot of tools that are doing it, and it shows up in context to how you've used other products as well. Now, don't get it wrong. This is not all about the stoic and more stuffy approach to CTAs. There are other ways to approach it too. Something in a more playful manner. Sometimes the best call to actions are weird and fun and playful. If you think of tools like FigJam, who has a really good playful approach and a weird approach as to how it does. It lowers the stakes in terms of being more professional to something more whimsical and joyful. That could be your space for welcoming new users that have that mindset or look at it in that way. Here's an example of Notion in action. In this particular example, you'll see me having my Notion pages open. And I'm usually crafting lists and kind of building pages. Well, over here is a feature that they have that is pretty fun. You see, it looks like a face. And so if you click on it, you're able to personalize it. It's just like a prompt window. It's just like a prompt feature, but it has a bit more character and flair. I'm even gonna give it a mustache. I seem to have a light one. So I'm gonna give it something that I don't have, a thick mustache. Yeah, I like that. You see how playful and easy to work with this thing is. And that's the joy in introducing something whimsical, fun, and in the moment. It's for your users, and they like it too. Here's your takeaways. This is what you should really hone in on, and we'll do it rapid fire. 1, make the first step into your product forgiving. Use suggestions, use prompts, galleries, anything to give and nudge the user in the right direction. 2, use prompt time wisely. Guide the user with precise, more focused prompts so they can get better outputs. 3, show the user what's possible before asking them to create something. You can do this by galleries, examples, even a hint of something that can give them the results they're looking for. 4, match your CTA style with what your product is actually asking. Again, that example with Notion came right at the right moment, but it's just playful for me. And FigJam. And the key to that is use fun, whimsical things as a ramp into the product, not the entire thing, unless that's your jam. Just saying. Now, here's what not to do. Don't just drop a blank text input box in there and hope that users figure it out. Like, Don't make AI or prompt box the star of the show or the hero of the film when it's actually a companion. It's actually a side character instead of the real hero. And do not design for power users only. Put something in there, add a bit of context, or even some guide for first-time users. It'll only help you, your product, and the people who are looking for you in the end. So as we wrap up, remember you're the top designer, and remember that user who closed out of the app? Well, with some good scaffolding, some really good CTA, and some guidance, I think would have made all the difference. And if you start to add that into your products for the next time, I'm sure you'll get an entirely different result. The initial call to action to your product is like a handshake. You want it to be warm, firm, inviting, as opposed to something that's a bit more stoic and off-putting. Welcome your users. Make them feel welcome to use it. And I'm almost positive that things will go well in your favor for your team and your product. If you're interested in learning a little bit more, there's a cool website that I check out. It's called The Shape of AI. And this gives you a lot of things around elements and around tools, tips, and usage for AI design. And this will help you if you're looking to better your knowledge. And I'm sure you will level up your understanding and your design relevance for building AI products and the elements that drive action forward. I'd love to know what you've seen. Drop it in the comments. Let me know the worst AI call to action you've seen or have experienced. And honestly, you don't need to leave names if you don't want to. We're here for it. Your life has colors, so design it that way. If you want to learn more about gamification, click this link. And to go over all the psychology of mobile apps, check this one. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.